Hey everyone, it's Tom Seymour from VHS Massacre. If you're into making no-budget feature-length films or low-budget feature-length films, this may be of interest to you. I talk about everything from creating a no-budget feature-length film or low-budget all the way to the film festival circuit, getting distribution, and how to get on those major streaming sites, how to win some major awards, and how you can do it outside of the studio system and be truly independent. So today I'm going to be talking about a few things. One thing is called a DCP, Digital Cinema Package. And this is something that if you have a finished film, short film or feature-length film, and you get into a film festival or you're playing in a theater, sometimes a film festival will ask for the digital cinema package. Now, what it is it's the professional grade way that a movie theater would actually play your film through their contemporary projection system. So some festivals, they'll take an MP4 or Apple ProRes, something like that, and they can play your film. And that's no... that works just as well. But the DCP has a file system and extra information where it's kind of prepared to be projected in a professional theater. So it's just that one extra step for prepping it for movie theater. And it's exciting. It's very exciting because if you think about it, that is the equivalent of a 35 millimeter print, right? A DCP. So if a film festival is asking for a DCP, you may be thinking, oh, why do they need that? But it's better to think of it like a sort of badge of honor, right? You have a digital cinema package, which essentially is the equivalent of a film print in today's day and age. You can argue about qualities. We all love 35 millimeter film because it's a physical object and because it's actual silver deposits. It's beautiful. It's perfect. If you can't do that, then in theory, the next best thing would be a DCP. So how would you do that? Well, I was somewhat under the gun. I needed to create one based upon I had an Apple ProRes HQ 4K master of Video Dreams, which is my latest documentary feature, 82 minutes. And believe it or not, that ProRes file, I think it's about 120 gigs, something like that. And so needed to create DCP out of it. Well, how do you do that? One way is you pay to do it. You pay $300-400 to do it. That didn't sound that cool to me. So I was doing some research on how to do it yourself. And if we look here, there's a few different programs. When I looked at Open DCP, I looked at the interface and the functionality of it, and I looked up ease of use, and I actually found it to be a little cumbersome. And so I kept looking, and then I found this thing called DCP-O-Matic. Here is the page, DCP-O-Matic.com. Go to the download page. I'm working on Mac, so I downloaded that. So you want to download the DCP-O-Matic and the player, because you want to play it after and verify that the DCP works. Okay. One thing is you probably are going to need a contemporary computer, either something. If the computer is not powerful enough, it's going to take an awful long time. I'm not saying my computer is amazing. I have a Mac Mini, and it's the M1 chip. So it's not. I think they're up to M3 chips. It's an M1 chip with 16 gigs of RAM, and but I will tell you, to convert that thing, it took 12 hours. Okay, so if you have a new hot PC or Mac with a ton of RAM and super fast chip, you're probably looking at like maybe half that time, 5-6 hours, maybe you crank through it. But for me, it took 12 hours. So for a feature, a short film would obviously be shorter time. Okay, this isn't a full tutorial, but it's I'm gonna link. I gotta show you this. This guy, Fear Fame Productions, created an awesome tutorial. I will link it in the bio, and he kind of goes through what to do, exact options in the interface, and how to kick it out. But I think with the combination of this guy's tutorial with the checks that the DCP-O-Matic does at the end of the... Oh, we got a commercial popping up. Does at the end of the video. Let's see, when it goes to composite, it'll kind of say, hey, look, your audio levels are too high, and then you could reduce the audio levels, and it gives you all these checks before you kick it out, right? So it's trying to warn you, fix this, fix this, fix this. So that's a really good it's a really great piece of software, obviously. So you go through this tutorial. After you're done, then you're going to use the player, and then you play the file, and then you see if it works. In this, he goes through, you had to actually crop the image. There's these bars around the top and bottom, and see, he had to do a little zooming. I had to do a little zooming for mine, and nothing crazy though. So anyway, I'll link that video. But then when I went to check it, there's a different program called the player program, and you play the DCP, and it functioned perfectly. It looked good, and so in theory, you should be good to go. And then I uploaded that, and the DCP is essentially the same size as the Apple ProRes. It was 116 gigs, and for some reason, at home, that took forever to upload. Yeah, that took a really long time to upload for some reason. And so I had to do that overnight, and now it's up. And within the file system of the DCP, it looks a little funky. You're going to see all these different folders, but there's one folder that you open with the player, and that will play it. And so what I did then is I put that on my Google Drive, 116 gigs, and then I sent that to the film festivals. So anyway, that's the whole thing with the digital cinema package. Hopefully this is of some interest to those of you out there who are interested in this type of thing. Actually, this is the first time I've been doing DCPs. Even with VHS Massacre 2, we played in at least 30 film festivals, and a lot of them I think were converting on the fly. They're converting, they would take my MP4. I had like a 4K MP4, and they would convert it. And but I think it's become a lot more commonplace, especially with, and truth be told, I'm getting into a lot of festivals that are kind of bigger, which brings me to my next announcement. And I want to hedge this by saying, like, you can do what I do, okay? I've made about 8 feature-length narrative films, horror films, comedy films, stuff like that. I have one out called Exorcism of Fleet Marish. It's a horror feature. You can watch it for free on Tubi and a bunch of other places. And also I do documentaries. The last one I put out was American Expendables, about the films of North American Pictures. That got distributed through ETR and Vinegar Syndrome, and you could watch that everywhere. Tubi, Prime, Apple TV. The reason why I bring this stuff up is I always kind of want to credential myself to people who are listening out there and say, I'm not just a guy talking about this stuff. It's not theoretical. Like I really do make the films, and they get distributed. So that being said, Video Dreams is my latest feature-length documentary, and it actually delves through a lot of the narrative films I made over the years. So it's kind of it's interesting because it's a documentary about the last 30 years of independent filmmaking. It's kind of autobiographical, and then talking about narrative films. So it's an interesting doc. One of the coolest things to happen is we've gotten to, I'll talk about Spirit of Independence first. Spirit of Independence is a film festival in Sheffield in the United Kingdom. One of the most incredible things about this festival is that it is a British Independent Film Award qualifying festival. And in the United Kingdom, the major awards are the BAFTA, which is their Academy Award. But in the independent film realm, it's the BIFA. In the United States, the closest equivalent would be like the Indie Spirit Awards. But in the United Kingdom, the BIFA is very important. So it's kind of a big deal. The BIFA qualifying festivals like Spirit of Independence are where the BIFA would pick their British films from. Now, ours is not a British film, but still it speaks to the quality of the film festival. And so to get into this level of film festival, you can think of it as like the step right before the actual BIFA. So in the United States, there are festivals like I think Sundance Slam Dance, Doc NYC is an Academy Award qualifying film festival. There's a lot of them that are like that. So if you got into Slam Dance, let's say, it being the thing is, Slam Dance, the name is so famous. Slam Dance is kind of like that's amazing in itself. Same thing with Doc NYC. The name Doc NYC. Doc NYC is the #1 documentary film festival probably in the world. But that being said, some of these other film festivals, they'll have as a credential Academy Award qualifying film festival. And again, that means they're pulling out of those festivals to then make their nomination list. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that if you get to that festival you're going to qualify for an Academy Award nomination or something. But I see it as the level below qualifying. So it's like it's something you could definitely brag about, and it's definitely important. And for an independent filmmaker like me, who's not spending any money on my features and really trying to make something going, really trying to get something going, a lot of those films that end up at something like the Academy Awards, they're heavily funded, not only in the creation of them, but typically a distribution company will pick them up, and then they will actually spend money to run an ad campaign to have something potentially nominated, and those people typically will have an agent or a producer's rep for the film, and that is a whole financial structure. Now, I'm not bashing it, but when people say it's a business, they really mean it. You're hoping to do is to get into some of these Academy Award qualifying film festivals, because that would be a pretty huge deal. Or to win at the Spirit of Independence is like the next best thing that you're gonna, next best thing to getting into those larger, celebrations. So that's a really awesome thing. Super proud to be part of that. The other thing is, like, this is another super cool Torino Underground Cinefest. This is definitely an important film festival. It's a very well respected underground film festival. You see this name, Torino Underground Cinefest, pop up on a lot of these super cool cult movies that come out or horror movies that come out. And it's definitely like a badge of honor. And so we got into this. We're official selection of this, and they needed a DCP as well, which I just delivered. So anyway, you might be asking, how did you get into these festivals? The one thing is persistence. You keep making feature films over many, many years, and then hopefully you get better at it. You maybe get more in tune to what festivals might like your work, and then you're entering more festivals. And Video Dreams, my buddy Tim and I, we just decided we're going to go, full on. So we entered a lot of festivals. And so what happens is you don't get into some of them and you do get into other ones. I've really been able to hone the film festival list. I think by the end of this whole thing, we'll probably be entered into about 100 film festivals, I think, in the end. And I don't ever want to feel with this film like I didn't give it the absolute best chance to be seen by the most people in the movie theaters. And for independent filmmakers, this is our theatrical run. And this is the way to get it out to many cities. Like, I am hoping to top the VHS Massacre 2 documentary that I put out, which premiered in about 30 cities and won 23 awards. I'm hoping to top that. I'd like to get up to 40 cities with Video Dreams. And then from there, what you do is you pursue a streaming deal. Typically I go with MVD, and then they will get it out to most of the major streaming sites. And they do some very cool stuff. For instance, the last doc I put out, American Expendables, it not only got on Prime and Tubi, it got into this thing called Cineverse, which is actually the distribution company that bought Terrifier 3 and the new Toxic Avenger movie. So they at least, actually, I think with Toxic Avenger 3, they acquired it, and so they're putting it out in this thing called Cineverse. Terrifier 3, I think they did the same thing. And so, but it's also on Apple TV. It's probably on about a dozen streaming sites. Most places play it. So once your film's gotten a certain level of fame, then from there, you can approach distribution companies for physical media releases. And honestly, we got really lucky with this company called ETR. My buddy Greg from Fanzine recommended it, that I reach out to them, and they said, yeah, let's do it. And one of the things that the guy over there said was that, hey, believe it or not, if a film hits streaming first and people know about it, the physical release can come after, and that can actually help. In today's day and age, it kind of makes sense. It's like if it's been out streaming, if you could Google it and it's kind of everywhere and you know what it is, you see the trailer, you like it, you might say, well, I don't need to stream it. I'll let me watch this in the best way possible. I'll do a Blu-ray and see watch on Blu-ray. And so American Expendables got put out through ETR, but Vinegar Syndrome is who distributes ETR. It's a partner label. So lo and behold, this obscure documentary about B-movie action stars like Billy Blanks and Cynthia Rothrock and Debbie Rochon turned into this Vinegar Syndrome release. So the moral of the story is, if you hang in there for long enough and you keep doing consistent work over years for long enough, things probably will eventually happen. But it's a matter of doing a lot of work over time and putting it out there. You can't just do the work and sit on it. You have to try to put things out, which means that you'll get good and bad reviews and all the stuff that comes along with that. But as an independent filmmaker, when something is working, like when you get into Spirit of Independence or Torino Underground, it's a real gratification that you did something right. And so anyone can do this. I on the VHS Massacre YouTube page, there's a series called the $500 Feature. It goes over how to make feature-length horror films for like $6,000. Edit full-on feature-length adventure film for $14,000. I think a $9,000 16 millimeter drama, a action movie for $12,000 feature length, and it breaks down how to do all that. If you're a first time filmmaker, and you like horror, like you like horror just as much as you like a good drama or comedy, I would make a feature length horror film. I would write a 70-page script, 75-page script. You don't need to make a 90-minute script. Keep it lean. And typically, you cut the film down. It'll be 75, 80 minutes with credits. People forget credits can take up about 5 minutes of screen time. So, and today's day and age with modern streaming, like 70, 80-minute movie is great. And a lot of your favorite movies were 70, 80 minutes. Run Low the Run, I think it's 70-something. You got Frankenstein. Was it Boris Karloff Frankenstein's like 70-something minutes? There's a ton of movies that are incredible that are, not... they're not 100 minutes, they're not 2-3 hours, So... yeah, you can do it. If you want to do documentary, the VHS Massacre docs are a pretty good template. They collectively won about 28 awards, close to 30 awards. The first one screened on NBC Universal's Peacock, as well as like Mubi, the art house place, along with Fandango, Prime, all this other stuff. So those two movies got reviewed in the New York Times. Like, all this stuff happened that you never would have thought documentaries on the decline of the American video store and the decline of physical media would have got you. But this is stuff that was really important. I mean, if you watch that first VHS Massacre doc, you'll see why. It's because my career was so wrapped up in it. Actually, Video Dreams is the best one to watch. But so that's gonna hit festivals. It's in festivals now, and so we'll see what happens with it. Yeah, so that's about it for now. Yeah, you can do it. Make your own feature film. Don't shoot on your phone. That's just, you don't need to do that. At the very least, I would say you could probably find on eBay a used Blackmagic 4K Pocket. Get that with a Lumix 14-42 lens, and like, you're good to go. Just get a boom mic and a boom pole. And you could plug it right into the camera. Actually, you don't even need two systems. The way it's that good. So you can totally do it. You and your buddies get together. Split the equipment. Probably be like $2,000 at the most, and make a horror film. Try to get someone who can do makeup effects. You might have to throw them some money, because some of that stuff costs money to make, but you can definitely do it. Do a limited location, one location, shoot I like the 9-day shoot. So Saturday, Sunday, you take a Monday through Friday off from work, and they shoot the other Saturday, Sunday. That's 9 days. A month later, plan like a Saturday to do a bunch of makeup shots to make the thing work or make sense. Whatever didn't come out right, or whatever you need to fix it, you plan a weekend of reshoots, and you can do it. You cut the thing together, Make sure it's over 70 minutes. Hit the film festival circuit. You might have to save up again after the film is done. That whole process is going to take like a year to shoot it, cut it, get it right. A year later, you're going to do festivals. So you and your buddy save up a couple grand. Try to enter a minimum of 30 festivals. If it's horror, try to do... if you're starting out, you're definitely going to want to enter a few of the big ones. But then save room to enter a lot of the cult ones and smaller festivals you think you got a shot at. And but try to get at least 30. And you can find discounts, and you sign up for a Film Freeway Gold account. That will give you discounts on the festival. And there are techniques to getting free waivers and stuff. And you can get real deals. You can search, lower fee festivals and stuff like that. So you can get up to 30 festivals pretty cheaply, under $1,000, and then you're in the festival circuit, and then after that, you win some awards, and then you approach distributors. Distributors can be, they're still around. Trauma will still take films. I think Ron Bonk's company, SRS, I think will still take them. I think Full Moon. Who else? Yeah, you have to look around. But they're still out there. There's still companies that will acquire films and put them out. So yeah, I like the company MVD. I think they're great. They're very it's very transparent. They do like revenue splits and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, all right, that's about it. If you have any questions, leave comments in the leave me some comments. All right, we'll see you next time.